everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about my little 10-gallon tank. The tank has been set up at the new house for exactly 4 weeks and 2 days, and as you can see, it doesn't look too much different from when it did before I moved. The gorgonians are in a little bit different places. The rock flower anemones have moved around a bit, but basically I've kept the same rock structure and everything survived the move from this tank. Now I did have a little bit of an issue when we did move this tank because I had wanted to put it in the kitchen on its own stand, and that ended up not working. One thing that I didn't really like about our old house was having both tanks in the same room, which was a spare bedroom at the back of the house, so no one really spent any time in there unless I was home by myself and on my computer. That's where I got the idea to put this tank in the kitchen where it would be seen more than in the back room. But that didn't work out. The stand I had purchased ended up being really rickety. It was one of those manufactured plywood particle board stands, and it just didn't seem sturdy enough for me to feel comfortable putting the tank on it long term. Unfortunately, that means, as you can see, this tank is now on the old stand I had my husband make for the 25-gallon Lagoon tank. I did keep that stand because putting the kitty litter underneath that stand worked really well, and that's something that I wanted to do in this new house as a way to sort of keep the litter box out of sight in a corner where no one would have to see it or smell it or anything like that. This is a short-term solution. This tank is actually going to go back on the same IKEA stand it was on before we moved, which is across the room, and that's what I'm going to do today. I actually haven't done a water change in this tank for the last 4 weeks. I did one water change 2 days after I moved the tank to make sure that everything was happy and healthy, but since then I have basically not touched this tank other than to feed it. Just wanted to point out really quick that you can see my pom-pom crab is out in front towards the right of the tank, and my anemone shrimp is out in front towards the left front of the tank. It's kind of cool to see them both out at the same time right now because normally I don't see my pom-pom crab out. I'm really happy about that right now. Because I'm going to move the tank, I want to make sure I know where she is so that I don't hurt her accidentally if the rocks shift. So knowing that she's out and in this front corner, I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to watch her and make sure that she's okay during this move. So the first step I'm going to take is taking out the dirty water. I'm also going to siphon the sand as if I was going to do a regular water change. I take about half of the water out of the display for that, so that's going to be my first step. The second step is going to be taking out extra water so that the tank isn't as heavy when I move it across the room. That will include taking out as much of the water as I can from the back chambers and taking out some more water from the display area. So let me get started on that, and hopefully this won't take too long and I can get this tank moved to its new spot, plugged back in, filled with water, and everything will be good. Alright, so here you can see the tank is in its new permanent spot. Unfortunately, when I shifted the rocks around to get them placed a little bit more the way I wanted, I did stir up the sand quite a bit, so that's why it is very cloudy at the moment. I did add the Corallia to get some more flow in the tank, which I hadn't done because I knew I was going to have to move it, and I just was kind of being lazy on that front. The only other thing I really want to make sure I do with this tank is to get a different container for the auto top-off water, because currently, as you can see, I am just using like a lemonade cooler, and although the seal is great and it doesn't leak, it just doesn't look great. I am not sure where I will be able to put the auto top-off container other than next to the tank on the stand. To the left of the stand is the wall, and to the right of the stand is some equipment, a cart with all of my food and dosing and test kits, and then the lagoon tank is to the right of that. So there's not really much room on the floor to put a new container, so I'm hoping that I can find something that holds about a gallon of water that would just look a little bit better on the stand next to the tank. So that is all I have for you guys for now. Of course, if you ever have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I hope you like this video and decide to subscribe to my channel. I do plan on getting videos out more on a weekly basis like I had been doing before. We are finally getting more settled into our new house. Most of our boxes are unpacked and the house is pretty clean at the moment, so that gives me more time to do more videos. I will see you guys next time.